Afternoon, it's EMS Automotive, manufacturers of replacement sheet metal for 1941 to 1948 Chevrolets. We do a lot of things. We actually go 35 to 54 Chevrolet, but today we are talking about our 41 to 48 Chevrolet floor pan kits and firewalls. The 41 to 48 Chevys are cool cars. They're street rods, they're low riders, they're restorations, they're cruisers, they're customs. We got it all, the sheet metal for the car. Coming over here, starting at the firewall, if you happen to have to put that big motor in it, we got a recessed firewall for you. Okay, let you put the bigger engines in it. Okay, moving to the most popular part we have is the floor pan kits. Now, no matter what firewall you have, stock, small block, big block, our floor pan kit will fit that specific firewall. You tell us which one you have, we'll make the kit for you. All of our sheet metal is 18 gauge. It's made in Detroit. It's made by EMS Automotive. We stamp it. We don't do any of those cruddy little rolls or Japanese tool stuff. We die stamp these ribs. These ribs are stamped in a big machine, so they're deep, they're formed well, they got lots of depth, lots of strength. We put, if you happen to have a body that need a hole in it for something, we put the holes in it. In this case, it happens to be for a body mount, and what we do is we stamp a special body mount recess plate. So when the bolt goes in here, it's below the floor, so your carpet doesn't bulge up. Whether you stick it on the top or the bottom, that's up to how you want to do your car. But like right there, it comes out, it's recessed, it's got the correct space on it. You drill it for whatever hole you might, whatever bolt you might need. Okay, included in our kits, this is what you see here. This is what you get in the kit, all of these pieces here. You know, you get the toe board, the floor pan, 2 toe boards, 2 floor pans, goes completely from one side of the car to the other. We give you, it's included in the kit, oversized transmission cover. Okay, this is part of the kit. It goes in there. It has some adjustability depending upon how you do it. That's EMS. That's because we manufacture here. We have our own tool shops, engineers, designers. We know how to form metal correctly. Heavy 18 gauge, heavy 18 gauge. This is not Chinese tissue paper. Can't bend it, you know. So you have your transmission cover, a bevel plate. It all comes down, looks smooth. Couple little angles if you need it. Okay, all included, 6 pieces, one price. Instruction sheet comes with it. EMS Automotive. Make sure it's ours. Don't get fooled by eBay scammers or other companies that say they're in Detroit and they do things. EMS is the only one with their own factories. Okay, now, as you're going through the car from the, we're going to go through the whole car today. We're going to go all the way to the back bumper. We're going to run into the rocker panel. The rocker panel obviously goes underneath the door. It's the most common rust area, and some people confuse it. We're going to cover our rocker panel. I'm going to get these pieces out of the way because they're a mess. Not needed right now. The rocker panel on a 41 to 48 Chevrolet is totally unique. It's huge. Our rocker panel kit consists of 3 major pieces. You got your inner rocker die stamp, okay? You have your top plate. This is the top plate. Here again, this is also die stamped. It's almost 10 inches wide. It has what we call the carpet bead. This is where your aluminum plate goes in the door, okay? Okay, and you can see get down here, the cameraman can see it. We got this curved, okay, stamped in there. This can't be formed on any cheap tools. So the way this goes is, I'm going to cover one more piece here. This is the outer rocker. Now the outer rocker has a curve front to back. Notice, I'll get this out of the way. Notice how this thing rocks. If I push all the way down, it comes up. There are people out there try to make you a straight one. Doesn't work that way. This is die stamped left and right. So this way you got the correct curve Here again, I got to turn it for the cameraman. He's being difficult. It curves this way just correctly. That's why it rocks. Okay, so this sits up there. This is the flange that goes underneath the car. Okay, that's where you won't see. And your inner rocker, well, your inner rocker is going to come up against it like this. Now you see a gap on top, but that's supposed to be there because that's where the top plate goes. The top plate goes on top of the rocker like this. Here again, I got to get it there for the cameraman, and I don't have enough hands to hold up the other piece. But this goes on here like this. Okay. Now, what happens is, and the cameraman can walk around and it'll show you real good here. This goes on the outside, okay? And the door goes over this. The way the 41 to 48 Chevrolet is set up, the outer edge of the floor pan is slightly lower than the center. So it has a tilt of about a half an inch, 3/8 of half an inch, which that's the way they built it. The problem with that is the water all rolls to the outside, and the water gets caught in this crevice over here underneath on the top plate. So if you just got chances are this is rusted, this is actually the rocker panel, it's included. So you may not even need to buy the floor kit because the top plate covers that. Now, the top plate covers the full length of the door, goes into the back, into the rear floor pans. Now, in addition to that, you can buy what we call rocker panel assembly, the 3 pieces, you weld it together in your own shop. You can also get the floor braces, and we call that a kit. And there's the 3 floor braces that hold up I'm not necessarily putting them in the right order, but here in the right position. But you got front, center, and rear. You know, you can buy just the 3 pieces, or you can buy all 6 pieces. We sell it both ways. 6 pieces. The sales department gives you a good deal on the price, so they knock $100 and some bucks off or something like that. So that's EMS. And notice our floor braces are 16 gauge. That's heavy steel. It's nearly 3 times or 4 times the thickness of the Chinese tissue paper steel. Now, all of our products are made out of brand new automotive steel. They are shipped rust-free. The boxes are marked, the parts are marked. EMS Automotive. Don't get fooled by somebody else. eBay scammers, somebody who doesn't have their own USA factory, just to show you a bunch of labels. All of our parts come with some type of label on it. We have hundreds of them depending upon the application, but we always market EMS. We're going to step over to the other table. And while we're going over to the other table, there are catalogs. They are now online. You could look at our YouTube videos and like us on YouTube and sign up and subscribe, and you'll find this in a flip book form. Or you can go to our website, which is over here, emsautomotive.com, and it'll lead you to all different kinds of technical information, including an online catalog. And okay, we came over to the second workbench. We talked about how to get a catalog online, and we're going to talk about the rear floor pan sections. The 41 to 48 Chevys are interesting. Very complicated body, lots of pieces compared to the earlier cars, and lots of pieces compared to the later cars. Okay. The front floor pan section goes from the firewall to about halfway into the front seat. Then we have what's called the rear floor pan first section. And that's a pretty big hunk of floor pans. That's going to include 4 major floor pans for both sides and 2 drive shaft tunnel sections. Okay, because it's a big area. It's going from halfway under the driver's seat to way at the beginning of the back. 41, 48 Chevys have lots of room in them, so there's a little bit more floor pan in the back. Okay, here again, we're looking at what we talked about before. Heavy 18 gauge steel, die stamped ribs, clean, rust-free automotive steel, made in Michigan, made in our own factories, designed by our own designers. You got to be careful. You got to watch out for scammers that try to sell you something, you know, cheap. They're always talking about the deal. We're talking about the parts. We're not talking about the deal. Okay, we're talking about correctly formed, made here in Michigan in our own factories. EMS is the only company that has its own factories. So we have these pieces to 4 major floor pans, front and rear drive shaft tunnels. We even offset it so they slide together. We can do that because we have the equipment and the technology. Also included is some of what they call the risers over the back seat. We're going into, this is complicated, even I got to look at the list. Okay, this goes in here. This is the beginning of the back seat area. Okay, this is a stiffener that goes across. Here again, we made it. Look at this. We had to do it just like Chevrolet. We hemmed it right over to make it extra stiff. We have the technology. We just don't cut it off and give you a flimsy piece. Heavy 18 gauge, stamp the ribs in there, give you the stiffener flange at the top. Okay, this all goes together. Now, this is the first section. This is fairly popular because this is where people put their feet and it rusts out. Okay, front floor pan section we changed because of the motors. Rust, this is rust. Now we're going into this area here, which is 41 to 48 Chevrolet rear floor pan second section, and it's confusing. This is primarily underneath the back seat cushion. If you have a back seat cushion, if it's a business coupe, which is fairly rare in 41 to 48, it'd be underneath the gas tank. But this is the back. This is under the back seat area, beginning under the back seat and starting to roll up the roll to go over the top of the axle. It's not quite at the top, but it's rolling up to the top. Very complicated section. It includes your floor pan pieces. I'm going to step up front here. It includes your floor pan pieces that goes around. It includes, in some cases, a little part of the drive shaft tunnel, a little bit of a tail, you know, depending upon your application as it comes off the other piece. Because there's a slight difference between, you know, whether you have a coupe or a sedan, our kits are made to fit your car. So we have a second section, and we got the first section, the second section, we got a separate one for the coupe, separate one for the sedan. We got the correct stuff for you. We never sell you anything universal or generic. Okay, now I'm showing you an assembly video because this kit is really complex, and we have a real difficult time trying to make. We got some assembly, we always have assembly instructions for you, and I'm going to flip it around. It's pretty complicated, so this is just more than advertising. This is also how to put it together. And what we're doing here is we got this piece here. Remember, the big thing here is the hole and a little flange on top and the big cutout over here. So we put that down. We got this little piece, okay. It comes in here like this, covers that up, okay. Then we got these two pieces over here. They go in there like that. Okay, now if any of you guys flunked preschool playing with blocks, you're going to have a tough time with this one. Okay, then this, it goes on top like this. Unfortunately, I can't hold it there. And then there's the other piece. Notice the cutout here and the opening there, which matches that. And it comes down like this. I'm going to jiggle it so it lines up. And that's how it goes. Okay, this is a stiffener in the second section underneath the back seat. It doesn't rust very often. Okay, it's unlikely. This is not the most popular kit. It doesn't rust very often, but I have to show you this. If you need it, we got it, EMS. And here again, the same thing. You've heard it all before. Heavy 18 gauge steel, all the shapes and curves, die stamped, bent, made in Michigan. EMS. Watch out for fakes and imitators from China and scammers on eBay and all these other sites that are trying to sell you, oh, we can sell it to you super cheap. There's a reason for it. They don't know how to make it correctly. only EMS. Even on some of our steel over here, we even stamp our name in the steel. Not every piece, but most of them get the stamp. So we're EMS Automotive. Detroit, Michigan, we have our own engineers, we have everything. Remember, if you want to call us, you know, this is at 248-546-0232. And we've got it on the sign. So any questions, give us a call. We're happy to help you out.